So we have one here from Marcus Brownlee, all about this new humanoid robot that seems to be making its way through the YouTube algorithm for the uncanny nature of it being able to do household chores and basically all of the things that I would want myself to do but can't manage to muster up the executive functioning. So we're going to watch that today from Marcus. Thank you, Marcus.
Okay, we have to have a conversation about this. I feel like it's been a minute since I've done just like an old school, straight to camera rant video, but this has been all over my timeline lately, so I feel like I have to. So meet Neo, potentially the most futuristic product we've ever seen. This thing is a full-fledged humanoid robot.
It looks like that guy off Big Five, that robot off Big Five. You know, the one that's the tubby one. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe I need a little bit of comfort. Battery life of 4 hours, soft body, cortex, human level hand dexterity, 4 microphones, 3 speakers. It can carry 55 pounds. What is that in? That's quite a lot. What's that, like 25 kilos? I know that because there's a weight plate just like right directly there. 25 kilograms. I'm really interested in the concepts of this because I imagine that once it's had a little bit more development, it might be actually something that I consider later in life once I've actually got the money to afford things like this. But it's a little bit, I'm waiting for the day that we actually have something like this that can help us humanoids with all our household chores and such. Very much so.
5'6", 66 pounds, 4-hour battery life, self-charging, and it lives in your house. It's finally here. Get your mind out of the gutter. It's for doing chores. It's a housekeeper. It has the same dexterity as a human because it's shaped just like a human, walks around on 2 legs, has 10 fingers. It can fold laundry and put it away for you, or it can do the dishes for you from start to finish and then put everything away. It can go around and water the plants outside or inside on a perfect schedule, and it never forgets a single plant. And then it'll go around.
Does it have a guard dog feature? That's what I want to know. Will it, like, if someone in the middle of the night breaks in, will it like go at them with like a machete or something? That would be an interesting feature, because I'm pretty sure that would terrify the absolute daylights of anyone trying to enter your home. Just a robot. Someone's trying to lockpick your front door. The robot just comes up and stares at them with the black beady eyes.
And vacuum and tidy up the house if anything gets left out. It always knows where everything is. It can find the TV remote, and it'll basically actively do all the chores that you know you have to do, but you don't actually want to do. And when it's done, it goes back to its little docking spot and charges itself. Imagine going out for the day of work and coming back a few hours later and everything's done. All the chores are finished every single time, every day. You never have to do chores again. That's amazing. Or maybe let's say you have mobility issues. This thing can sort of act as a personal assistant in a lot of ways. These are things that represent massive value for a lot of people. And it's available to order now. This is available to order. This feels like it could be the best tech announcement of all time in 2025, except
iRobot.
This isn't real. And I mean that in the most literal way possible. This is not real. First of all, it's a pre-order. So you can go to this website right now and you can pick between 3 colors, and then it's either $500 a month subscription for a standard delivery, or you can pay a flat $20,000 to own it outright and get priority delivery. Just drop a $200 fully refundable deposit to get in line today, and deliveries in the US start sometime next year.
Only in
and that's
the US.
Just allegedly. We don't know when it's actually going to ship. Now, to be clear, it's not actually the price that I have a big problem with. Like, I know these numbers seem eye-popping on paper, but this is a first-generation bleeding-edge humanoid robot assistant.
Yes.
Like, I never thought that this would be cheap. And also, there isn't really competition yet. So you got to imagine the target audience is going to be people whose time is worth more than the money they're spending on it. Like, this is for people who the idea of saving a few hours.
It's got kind of Siri/Big Five-esque vibes to it. I would really like something like this to help me out. Can you imagine just never having to do chores again? Absolutely lovely. I mean, yeah.
On chores every week so that they can use that time to make more money actually makes logical sense. Like, people really think like that. It's for early adopters. It's for people who want to spend however much they think it's worth on this brand new novel thing. That's fine. But my issue with this product is the gap between what it's actually capable of today and what they're promising as they take your money today. Like, I think when people watch a video like this, they expect that this robot has some sort of built-in artificial intelligence that allows it to recognize objects and navigate around on its own and learn your house and be productive for those hours while you're gone. And that, I think, would be a reasonable thing to get out of watching that video, because that's what it's designed to show. That's what you're supposed to feel. That's the dream. But that's not actually what's happening. Nope. So Joanna Stern, the legend, she did a video with this Neo robot also this week where the company showed her all of the things that it could do. And turns out 100% of the things that they showed her were remotely controlled by a human in another room wearing a VR headset with controllers.
That's a little bit
That's not exaggerating. 100% of the stuff they showed her. The carrying things around, the loading up the dishwasher. I mean, look at this thing.
Better than me after a night out. As if I go on nights out.
Yeah, all of this is teleoperated. And this was a demo set up by this 1X company. So this is like best case scenario stuff. And I see a lot of people defending this robot online, like, oh, no, there's probably other things that it can do autonomously. They just didn't show her yet. Really? You don't think they would show her the best stuff that this could do autonomously to keep selling the dream? If you watch that keynote video...
The thing is, this could be really useful for like people who have like care needs but just don't want to have, don't want to go into like shared accommodation or anything. Like, because one of the main pillars of the things that autistic people, ADHDers struggle with is the old executive functioning. And this robot, from what they're promising, seems to be something that can help with pretty much all of those things. Because if you've got AI, that can help you sort out your tasks for sure, your calendar. Then you've got this thing can sort out your dishes, your plants, your cleaning, laundry. If you can have all of those things sorted as an autistic person, can you imagine what type of productivity that would unlock? Next level. I mean, it's, as far as like people with mobility needs as well, like, wouldn't that be absolutely amazing that everybody has like this little robot that can go around sort of picking up and sorting everything out that, people in wheelchairs would struggle to do. It could even help people like stand up, like at the elderly and stuff. It could be like an absolutely amazing thing, but it doesn't look like it can actually do that now.
Back. To their credit, you'll notice that they actually are very careful to label exactly when the robot is doing something autonomously and not teleoperated. And in that whole nearly 10-minute video, there's exactly 2 scenes that have this label. There's the get the door command.
Get the door, please.
Where the robot walks over to the door because someone's coming up. It grabs the handle, waits for the guest, and then immediately sort of pulls the door open and fumbles backwards a little bit, kind of like a toddler, to let them inside. And then there's the put away the dishes command, where the robot toddles over to the person, recognizes the harmless, not glass, empty cup in its hand, grabs it,
surely that's a problem,
and then walks away with it. Cool.
Like if you ask it to get the door...
No, seriously, that's actually pretty impressive. Even if I could already today unlock the door with my Google Home and a smart lock with just my voice, there is something at least a little bit futuristic about a humanoid robot going to do that. That's part of the dream.
Nice if it helps some like martini.
But then that also means that everything else happening in this video and everything else we've ever seen this Neo robot do, we can safely assume is remote control.
Like
so the gap between what this product can actually do today and what it can maybe hopefully do someday in the ideal future it is massive. They are massively far apart. And so that's really my main issue. There seems to be a bit of a lost art in waiting for a tech product to be actually finished before announcing and unveiling it. Like, do you remember when tech companies would unveil a brand new tech product that they've been working on and then do a demo, and then the next slide was like, this thing is going on sale tomorrow or next week or something like that. And that hype would carry right into the buying cycle. You remember that? That was sick. But now, in this age of all of these AI products, it's like there's this thing where you end up selling the dream before you sell the actual product. And that is dangerous. Like, the promise of AI is so huge and so massive and magnificent and awesome, but is also so clearly not done yet that also you end up with stuff like the Humane Pin, or even the Rabbit R1, for example, or heck, even Apple Intelligence, where you have these big promises, but the capabilities are still over here, while the promise is all the way over here. And I'm trying to figure out why they do that. And I think really there's two main reasons. And believe it or not, I think Tesla self-driving is a really perfect parallel example for a lot of this stuff. See, basically, in order for this robot to be everything people want it to be, they need to develop a super smart AI system that looks through the robot's sensors.
Like, I know that they had like the parking thing. You can get it to like park itself. Not too sure about the self-driving thing. Have they actually managed to do that yet? Because I don't know. A lot of the people who we have self-driving cars here. Cool. I need to get myself one of those. Are they expensive? I bet they are. Yeah. It feels like we are on the precipice of entering into like the literal like dystopian worlds like of iRobot and stuff. The test city for one of the brands, they are very strange. It's interesting. I really want something like this. I feel like it would help so much with my executive function. I'm trying to think of some other things that it could help with. Like, maybe if it detects that there's like, you know, it's bonfire night. Because I've seen that there are a few people who advocate against like 4th of July fireworks and stuff like that. I'm not one of those people. Because like, you know, we have bonfire night in the UK. Fireworks, yes, they're very loud. They happen very infrequently. I don't think it's something that we need to advocate against, to be honest. But yeah. And you know, if it detects like the noise levels are a bit too high, or like if your temperature goes up when you're sleeping, you know, it could like come in, and I suppose that'd be a bit freaky, wouldn't it? I would love a robot for my laundry. I love my floor cleaning Roomba. It's very helpful. Is that one of those little disc things that scours across the floor? They remote in with these robots if they need assistance with tasks. Good fun. You could play some next level games with this as well. Can you imagine like paintball? You know, like one of those paintball stadium games. You know, you have to go around and, well, obviously shoot paintballs at people, but you could play it with actual robots in real life. That would be awesome. Thank you very much, Ace of Demons. Good lad. Thank you for coming in and showing some support, mate. Appreciate it, brother. No, but I can see this to be more helpful than like the things that they're talking about. Like, again, like with the noise stuff, like if it had like some noise cancelling headphones that it could just give to you, like if you were having a difficult time, or like meltdown management, like if you're having a meltdown, it could come and sort of, you know, monitor you, or maybe if it goes on for too long, or if it's at a certain intensity, it could like alert people. There could be loads of stuff like that that could be really, really helpful. I like the idea of it helping me out if I'm having some like night sweats or something. You know, if I'm a little bit too cold, come over and tuck me in, put a little blanket over me.
And is able to learn its environment and recognize everything it's looking at, and teach itself to navigate that environment and perform tasks. It has to learn what a laundry room is and what the laundry looks like and how to fold each type of clothing. And it needs to learn what cups and forks and glasses are and how to pick them up. And it has to be adaptable to all these different sizes and shapes and materials and things of all these household objects.
So at the moment, is it literally just a guy using those VR goggles and the little hand controllers just moving him? Or is some of it actually programmed into the robot? Because if it isn't, it seems like that's a pretty large thing that they have to overcome before it can actually be useful. Because I don't know if I want someone... I suppose, to be honest, care companies, it could actually be something useful. Like if the dexterity was a bit better, if the people knew how to use it, you could have one person at a care company just zip in and out of different places to take care of people's care needs. It could actually be really useful. Half AI, half remote, be good for some old people in need. Yeah, I think so too, definitely. It'd be an expensive way of doing it, but I mean, what is the salary of someone with care needs? It's usually like 20, what's minimum wage in the UK? Can be programmed to perform emergency CPR. That would be very useful as well. Or diabetes. I suppose that'd be a bit of a difficult one with the syringes and everything. It could have a lot of really good applications beyond household chores, you know. What's your necklace? It is a 6-path necklace. It's Naruto. It's from this website called Hello Ice. I thought I'd get myself a little bit of bling.
The user asks for it to do something, just like, hey, Neo.
Thank you.
Vacuum the living room when I'm gone, something like that. Then Neo can go, okay, I know where the living room is. I know where the vacuum is. I know how to use the vacuum, where the handle's at, like how much battery life I have, how much I need to vacuum the whole living room. I know not to knock over lamps or certain objects in there. And even the laundry folding thing, like just that requires a ton of training data, or at least some way to understand all these different shapes of shirts and jackets and hoods and vests and all sorts of things, and hooks and hangers, and what gets folded, what gets dry cleaned, all these different things. And the list just goes on and on. And like, what if one of the tasks is going and getting the right medication for an elderly person, bringing it to them? That's got to be, it has to get that right. Like, it needs to identify the correct medication at the right time and the right intervals and bringing it to them. Like that is one of a ton of household objects that it has to specifically get really good at. Now, in the self-driving car world, no matter what you think of them, Tesla's definitely a leader here.
Yeah, it could drive a car.
They've had a pretty clever approach to trying to work on this problem, because their problem is their robots on wheels need to learn all of these possible variations and ways to navigate situations that could happen on the road and how to get around them. Traffic cones, construction zones, weird lane markings, etc., etc. So, with their millions of cars already on the road, they have slowly, very slowly, let people turn on this beta self-driving feature in small stages in their cars, while instructing people to keep their hands on the wheel, of course, so that they can slowly start to gather information from people willing to beta test. And so those cars will encounter and navigate all sorts of situations for the first time, and then the second time,
scrambled egg,
and then the 5th time, and then the 100th time. And all this data can go back into the system to help all these cars learn and get better. And now at this point, this is like their primary advantage, is they have millions.
I've actually been having a lot of help recently from my girlfriend. She's been like going on a bit of a cooking spree at the moment, but mostly just porridge in the morning with a protein shake. Then for dinner, but for lunch, like a cheese and ham toasty and some scrambled egg. And then usually for dinner, it would just kind of go, just for little things here and there, where it's burgers, tacos. I've been trying to get in some protein because I haven't been to the gym actually. Because obviously I've been in and out of hospital for the past 2 or 3 months. I haven't been gymming at all, and even before that I was sort of taking a break. So I'm sort of in this weird phase that you get in when you lose muscle when you've already had it, where it's quite quick to put it back on. But I've got to try and keep my protein up and trying not to gain fat at the same time. But it's very difficult. But I appreciate it.
Millions and millions of miles of training data from people essentially beta testing for Tesla. It's a robotics challenge. It's a AI challenge. But yeah, they're essentially using early adopters to beta test to make the systems better for the eventual masses. And now this home AI robot challenge is essentially the same thing.
You could use it for home tools as well, like give people like VR headsets so they can go in and take tours around the different places. And that I'm just thinking of all the possibilities, beyond just doing household chores. There's so many things that it could do. I'm quite excited actually.
But in people's homes, which is potentially way more variables. Cars have to stick to what's on the road and mostly are operating in.
You say that as a joke, but actually, no, not with a happy ending. Oh my god. You say it as a joke though, but seriously, if you could get a robot that could expertly give you massages, one of the things, it's not something sadly that is on the NHS, but one of the things that really helps me with my anxiety is massage. And it really sucks because if I could get that on the NHS, if I could get that as healthcare, it would probably it would increase my quality of life by quite a lot, to be honest. So if he could get a robot to do it with his weird fabricy hands, I don't know if it would be very comfortable. that would also be something. See, we're getting some ideas together. We should run a what do you call it? A pilot group, a survey group. We could help them out.
In a 2D plane where there's obviously different stories. People's houses are crazy different shapes, and there's all sorts of objects and different shapes and types of them, and a million different variables just with household objects. And maybe you could argue that the stakes of self-driving cars are a little higher because of all the safety risks, and if it messes up, someone could die. Maybe that doesn't happen as often with the home AI robot, but then again, if it gets someone's medication wrong, it's still pretty important. So
medication.
I think the point here is you don't get to make this awesome perfect home robot without all of this information. And so they need the training data. And so they go right back to early adopters. So people who press that order now button first and who actually, I guess, get one of these when they start to ship them, will get a robot that can probably do a few simple things autonomously, like opening doors, but there will be many things it can't do. And for that, if you scroll down on their website, you can see there's expert mode, which is when you have something the robot can't yet do, and you schedule one of their teleoperating employees to look through the sensors into your home and do the task so that the robot can learn from it. And this is something that they've pretty directly said that they expect early adopters to be totally cool with.
Totally agree. Massage is one of the only things that actually forces my body to relax. Well, it's actually quite interesting because you know, like with the whole sort of being autistic, we tend to have different sensory profile. Well, one thing to me is that I'm really insensitive to like blunt force, blunt pain. Like there's different receptors in your hands and your body that basically adapt for like different types of pressure. Like you have one that's like sharp kind of pain and stuff. You have one that's they activate depending on sort of the type of pressure that's applied to your skin. And for me, I'm really insensitive to the blunt stuff and really hypersensitive to the sharp stuff. So any like cuts or, you know, sharp feelings, I feel like very intensely, or even like soft touch. But when it comes to like the blunt stuff, not so much. So my theory is, if you're like me and you struggle with the blunt stuff, maybe your body's just constantly trying to get that fix. As opposed to massages, which you actually have to like pay for, you have to get someone to do it. Another good way of solving that is laying on the floor. You can do that. We call it floor time. It's a good way of going about it. Gives you that pressure that you need. Might do something a bit. But man, like if it could give you a massage as well, I would be sold.
Like, go watch Joanna's video. I'll link it below the like button. She basically grills the CEO about all this stuff, and he's kind of just like, yeah, you know, if you want to be on the bleeding edge of this, like, you know, we'll probably blur faces and maybe let you geo-fence certain areas of your house. But yeah, that'll be one of the things that they allow you to do. So look, there are certain industries where pre-ordering something that's not finished yet is actually normal behavior. Like this happens all the time with smartphones now. This happens in video games. It even happens a bit with cars these days, although sometimes that can even go too far. But now with all these AI products coming out now, it's resulted so many more times in this strategy of they feel like they have to announce the product way before it's done. And they end up putting out this thing that is just nowhere near the dream. And that's how you get, you know, we talked about the humane pin. Doesn't that sound familiar? Like getting announced with such a high potential ceiling and promising that this could maybe be a post-smartphone world type of gadget. But it was just absolutely not good when it came out. And not enough people were willing to beta test something with that miserable of an experience. And then the Rabbit R1, like I said, that's another one. And, you know, they are surviving and they're improving, but absolutely with those early adopters. But a $20,000 5'6" humanoid that wanders around your house and does chores. Like, are there really that many people, you think, that are willing to spend that amount of money and know that they're going to have to potentially give up some pretty serious privacy and are basically going to be a beta tester for some unknown number of years to hopefully maybe someday achieve
Can you customize
that dream?
The height?
Some of those people are out there, but is there enough of those people? You know, I don't know. I clearly don't know, and I think a lot of other people don't know. There are obviously a lot of potential downsides to this robot. You know, it's too small and weak to carry anything super heavy. It's also too slow and a bit too clumsy, it looks like, to do anything really serious. And it requires inviting a ton of remote viewable cameras and microphones into your house. And it could also fall over and have a hard time getting up. And also, just like a self-driving car, there are a number of situations where the robot getting enough things wrong could be dangerous.
I think I saw the initial video where the initial advert for this. I'm pretty sure they have like a mode that like blurs out people's faces. Do you think like it blurs out your body as well? Because I think it would be rather inconvenient to like step out of a shower. You know, you forget to bring your clothes with you off into the bedroom. You know, it blurs out your face. Does it blur out everything though? I hope it does.
Like even like just the medication stuff that I talked about earlier, or even it just clumsily dropping something made of glass or any other various potentially dangerous household situation. And also, I'm not even sure it has to be human shaped, but that's another argument for another video. But the upside, clearly,
It can dance.
is the dream. Like Rosie the robot from the Jetsons type of dream. A personal assistant that seamlessly goes around your house and quietly does all the stuff that you don't want to do and does it better and faster as time goes on and does it in quiet hours of the night. The point is, this is the new AI promise problem that we have. It's not just this product in this company. This is, the most visible one on all our timelines right now, but it's like all these AI products.
You could definitely get it to play RuneScape as well. Just do like all the menial tasks. No problem. Thanks, Ace. Much appreciated. You could get it to do all like the AFK stuff on RuneScape. Set a new task to click on this one spot every two minutes or so. You could. I think you could probably actually do that. That would be the new meta in RuneScape.
Are promising the world way, way before they have a product that's ready to actually show anyone and take money for it. And theoretically, this is what we want AI to do, right? It's not just like AI generated videos and slop and random copyright infringement. Like we want it to be doing actually useful, productive stuff. That's not the issue. It's just the gap. The gap, that's the issue. And closing that gap is so hard. And this is one of the obvious examples. Like the people that would benefit most from the ideal version of this robot, like the elderly or people with disabilities, are the least likely to become early adopters.
Yeah, because they can't afford it.
It's tough. I can actually applaud them for showing everything that they did to Joanna in that video. Fun fact, they actually reached out to me 10 months ago in January from a random Gmail address offering to do a sponsored video. I didn't respond. I didn't think it was anywhere close to real or worth doing a video or talking about, but we'll see how this ages. I think we might look back at this in 12 months and everyone everywhere is shipping great AI products and humanoid robots, and it's all a dream, and I look like an idiot. In which case, great. We made it through that gap somehow. But history's...
Thank you, Marcus Brownlee. The Problem with This Humanoid Robot. Go check it out. Go give it a like. Go subscribe. And if you want some awesome resources, there is a link down below in the description. Take you to Neurodivergent Insights. Megan Neff, someone who I've had on the podcast, 40 podcast, quite a few times, has a lot of amazing resources that I'm sure you'd love to check out. Use code Henley25 for a discount, and I hope you're doing well. I'll see you in a bit.